Hello, my marvellous sausages. Well, we've only got 3 weeks until the end of Season 16, and of course Season 17 will bring new craftable weapons with it. So the pool of weapons we can create will no doubt swell quite a bit. Plus, next season, the only element we will be able to use to shape and reshape our weapons will be the neutral element. All the others, the ruinous, the adroit, the mutable, the energetic, and drowned, are being chucked in the bin. So it's just going to be neutral element, oh, and of course the ascendant alloy. So, now is a good time to get some red bar neutral element farming in, so we have a nice pile of the stuff ready for when all the new weapons head our way. Now, when I usually get one of these red bar babies, I always think, ooh, I must keep that, and I'll do it soon. Then I chuck it in my vault and completely forget about it. So I had a look through my vault, and I had quite a few of these needy red buggers to complete, so I thought I'd find out the fastest way to get them done. Now, rather than spreading this task across all of my characters, I just pick one, my hunter, and there's a reason for this, to be my neutral element production machine. And I also did some research into the best methods to get these red bars finished fast. But before we get into the methods, if you want to know how much neutral element you've got without having to go back to the Enclave, you can pick up the Relic Tether from the end of the Enclave bench. You know, this over here. Now, this goes into your inventory and will give you a running tally of how much of each element that you have. But bear in mind, the only element that will survive going into Season 17 is the neutral element. Now, the first method I came across was farming the Shuro checkpoint in the last Wish raid. This is very easy to get for solo players. You use the wishing wall and you put in Wish 4, and then you're transported to the Shuro checkpoint. Now, I've got a separate video all about the Shuro checkpoint and how you actually get to it and how you type it in and all that sort of bubbins, but I'll stick that in the description as well, and there's a little link popping up on the screen now if you want to know exactly how to do this. Now, once you're here, you can place a raid banner down to refill your weapons and your super, of course, and then you can farm the enemies in here to get your Deepsight residence completed. Now, because this is a raid, when you get one kill here, it's equivalent to about 1.4% of the attunement completion, you know, the bar that grows up along the bottom, whereas the normal activities, it's only 1%, so you do get a lot more. Well, okay, about half again as much. With the amount of enemies you have here too, you can usually get a weapon done within about 2 runs of this checkpoint, as there's about 80 enemies in Shuro, depending on how you actually start clearing them out. Every time you clear a knight out, you should have another wave. The knights are the ones up the back there. But if you kill all the knights far too quickly, you won't get as much. But there we are, about 2 runs should easily see you to the 100% for the attunement. Now, the reason I'm using my hunter is because if you use the Shadow Shot Deadfall super, when you tether enemies, 1 kill of a tethered enemy will register as multiple kills. That's because it counts every enemy attached to the tether, even if you don't kill them. So this is a faster way to get those kills racked up again. So that's a nice little tip for you there. But of course, any class can do this. Now, you may not want to do this Shuro thing, well, because it's a raid and it can get a bit repetitive, to say the least, even though it is quite fast. But there are lots of other fast methods as well that you can do. Firstly, just by completing activities will fill up your attunement meter along the bottom there, and some activities give you more completion progress than others, and the general rule of thumb is the more difficult the activity, generally the higher amount of Deepsight attunement that you get. So, let's have a look at strikes, for example. Now, if you run a strike with the Vanguard playlist from the director, so that's not going to the node from the Vanguard playlist, that's going to the actual map, you'll only get roughly 17% when you get a completion on your attunement. But if you run the Vanguard Ops playlist, you'll be getting about 50%, maybe a touch more. And if you run Nightfalls on hero level, because that's the highest that allows matchmaking, you'll be getting 70% completion. And don't forget the kills you can get using the weapons in the strike too, so you can almost attune one weapon completely just by doing one Nightfall. But of course, if you don't like using a particular red bar weapon because you're going to be forced to use different weapons, you might not like sidearms, you might not like sniper rifles, then just run it with whatever you want, but just make sure to swap back to the red bar weapon so you're actually holding it before you complete the activity. That way then the completion will still count and you'll get the 50% or whatever it is. Just make sure you give yourself enough time. Don't do it at last knock-ins when you see the boss die, because you'll probably miss it. I do it when the boss's health is rather low. Just change over and then you'll get the percentages that you want on the guns that you want. And this swapping method applies to all activities as well. It's not just strikes. Talking of other activities, some of them do also give a nice chunk of completion. Now this is a rough guide and doesn't include any kills you make with the weapons, but Wellspring will give you roughly 42% completion of attunement, which is nice. Gambit will give you about 36, 37, 38. The same with Crucible as well. Public events are also quite a nice quick source because they'll give 20% for every heroic completion. So you could actually just farm them going around a low level area like the EDZ or the Cosmodrome, pop to the map, follow them over, go to the next landing zone and just do them that way. So it doesn't take too long as well if you're getting kills with the weapon. Now I haven't talked about the Psiops yet, which is of course the seasonal activity. It should have a special mention really, because what's good about doing this is that not only do you get about 57%, 56% completion, but you also get 2 chests to open at the end. And now the chests can reward you even more red bar Deepsight weapons, which is of course, we want to get as many of these as we can. And then you'll be unlocking the patterns as well that you can then shape and reshape in the Enclave. So something you really want to do if you're into your weapon crafting. Plus, you also get a chance to get some risen energy as well, which allows you to focus stuff at the war table. So, even though the Psiops doesn't get you as big a completion percentage as the hero Nightfalls, it is doing multiple things at once, getting yourself the red bars, getting yourself the risen energy. So it's a better way to be spending your upgrading time, really, because the Shuro Chi is just, well, it's just kills, farming kills. You get no completion bonuses because you don't actually ever complete anything. And I will say as well that I found the Nightfall hero, which is only 15-20 power level, which a lot of us should be over by now, is a great thing to farm because you've got a chance of getting enhancement prisms, Nightfall weapons, exotic gear, enhancement cores, and of course the completion of the weapons too. So you're doing a lot with the Nightfalls as well. And here's something to bear in mind: because you get the 56 or 57% completion when you do complete the Psiops, or even 70 when you're doing the Nightfalls, there's no point in bringing a weapon, if you're using it for kills, past 46%, for example, in the Psiops, because the 56% that you get at the end will automatically complete it. So anything beyond that, you're just kind of wasting kills. So you may as well just swap over to another weapon and start working on that one. Save yourself a bit of weapon farm killing time, yes? Good. So, 3 weeks left. Guardian games in the meantime, and this is then a really good time to start stockpiling this neutral element malarkey for next season's weapons. In fact, I'm actually not extracting any of the other elements at all anymore. I'm just concentrating on the neutral stuff, because the ones that I haven't unlocked this season, I'll just be able to unlock in the more simplified form next season. I'm not really fussed about anything else. And do let me know if you've got any interesting farming tips or locations. I forgot to mention the Grasp of Avarice dungeon as well, because there's shed loads of bloody thrall and enemies at the beginning of that. That's a nice kill zone. But let me know in the comments if you've got any other secrets that I don't know about. And don't forget, give me a like and a subscribe if you enjoyed the vid. And I'm also showing on the screen here the farming method for Shuro Chi if you want to go there and grab some kills. Thank you so much for watching, and I shall speak to you all again very soon. Sausage out.